And good evening and welcome to live broadcast. Shock Jocks podcast here on KTC Broadcasting. I'm Kevin Hastings along with Hunter. Who are you, Yancey?
Hunter Yancey, that's right.
and let's see, getting ready for today's broadcast, folks. Live here, we got some fun today for you. We've got XFL, NFL trade possibilities, a little NASCAR news and notes from this weekend.
Yep.
We got Hornets coverage from this weekend from Hunter and Tom. They're going to have that really. We'll go over Tom on Saturday, but Hunter's got a little bit for us today. And a little bit more. Hunter, big weekend. XFL, new football, right?
That's exactly right. New football. And if you were starved of football after only going a week without it, well, guess what? It's right back. And you've got some excitement to watch it. And here's the thing that I gathered from it. You know, some people were questioning, is it even going to be good football? I thought it was, excellent football. I didn't think it was high schoolish. I didn't think it was, more on the college level. I thought it was good, professional football. Yeah, they'll, of course, have things to tweak it, and it might have not been the cleanest of games. But you got to remember, it's week one. It usually takes in the NFL at least till week 2 or 3 before teams really start looking like themselves because they're not allowed to really hit in the off season. So it's going to have a lot of opportunities.
Well, the NFL plays 4 preseason games.
Yeah, and
plus
the XFL,
live scrimmages for a month before that and training camp.
But the XFL, no preseason games. Well, they do have small, like, joint practices where they play at game speed and let them hit, but it's really not open for the public. But usually, like I was listening to them talk about it as well, it was nice for them to get out and hit because in practices they don't hit. They don't hit. That that's how they trying to limit concussions and player safety. They're trying to do that at all level, limiting the hitting. So, but overall, you know what? I was entertained. That's the one thing I think everybody was looking for. Is it going to be entertaining to watch? It was very entertaining.
Are you entertained, Hunter?
Are you not entertained?
One of the best movies my generation that came out when I was growing up and everything. Everybody knows that the Gladiator movies. Hunter, we're looking today at I have some football requests. Since the NFL won't do it, maybe I can get
the XFL
to do some of my football rules requests.
Yes, go right ahead.
Let's see some of the things that you would be for or not for.
Mm-hmm.
What you think? Good idea or bad idea?
I
want live helmet cams.
Oh, you're talking about like how the referees sometimes have helmet cameras?
Right.
Or
the referees, there's no reason the referees in the NFL shouldn't have them.
Yeah.
And why do they don't wear helmets and all that mess? I don't know themselves. You know what I mean? Just in case. But I'm talking about, there was a point, there was a video game too, back in the day where they put the camera in the helmet basically, and you played that way. But there was a point, I think XFL, one of these maybe even tried it once, but they had the helmet cams. But even just for replay, not even if you, one day it'll be live.
Yeah,
one day. But like right now, they could easily put the cameras in there, and I think can do some type of a replay system where you can watch what the players were seeing in their helmets. That's my number one request.
Yeah. For
football. You like, dislike?
I have no problem with it. Because if you can switch, that's one thing that football does a really good job of right now is the multiple camera angles that they're able to bring you. Basketball, you're kind of limited just based on, the space in the arena. But football, you can have cameras up at the very top if you really wanted to. They have that one camera that slides across the line. It's almost like the sky camera. I would be all for it. For God's sakes, they have cameras in the pylon now. Why not?
The XFL was the first to do the sky camera, if you didn't know
the original XFL.
The original XFL, not the now, but
not the one now.
They're doing it now.
It's they have a lot of opportunities to try different things because it is brand new. Why not?
Mm-hmm.
And I heard somebody, I think it was Troy Aikman. They interviewed Troy Aikman. He was at the Dallas game, and he was on the sidelines, and he said he wouldn't be surprised if some of this stuff was implemented in the NFL within the few years, just because like the play clock. But to get to the line's only 25 seconds.
Right.
Speeds up the game instead of, the 40 seconds in the NFL?
Right.
And being able to speak into the helmets, he said it wouldn't be surprised. He likes the fact that they can talk to him the whole time, and it doesn't cut off like it does in the NFL when there's about 15 seconds left in the game clock.
I don't like that.
I like the cutoff. But he says, don't just limit it to the quarterbacks. Let everybody have everything in their heads.
Because that takes away the quarterback making the adjustments and puts it way more on the coaches and not on the field. So, it takes away from Peyton Manning walking up to the line and Tom Brady walking up the line going, I read this, and instead you got a coach.
Well,
you got a coach reading
if you got a quarterback that's skilled enough to do it, then I don't see why the head coach would take that away from him. But if you've got a young quarterback still trying to develop, it'll be fine. And think about it, it's not only on the offensive side. The defensive
you got a young quarterback. He sucks. Let's tear his head off.
I'm all for it because even then you got to think it's not the offensive. Not only the offensive players, you get in on the defensive players as well. Cornerbacks got it. Defensive linemen have got it. They can make adjustments on the fly. I think it makes it even more of a chess match.
Now doing that totally changes.
It just makes it more of a chess match
as opposed to games at other levels. If you would do that, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well.
All right. Here's some other ones
about that. Yeah.
We talked about this the other day. You didn't agree. I want no punting rule.
No, can't do it.
No punting rule. First downs or none. Keep going on the field. The other team gets it, goes the other way. I think that would be. It would add so much drama.
Can't do it
to the games.
Can't do it. I'm fine with the no field goals. I'm fine with that.
Now the field goals, I like the score.
Well, I tell you, it's not the no field goal. Sorry, it's no extra points. You have to go for it, like a 1, 2, or 3. I like that. Field goals, it's fine. Even though a guy shanked a 35-yarder, then goes out there next time and drills a 55-yarder, it makes no sense. But
I want no illegal contact downfield, no quarterback slides, and hockey-like penalty boxes on personal fouls.
We've agreed on the hockey-like penalty calls.
And then did you see the Marquette King punt?
That was disgusting. That punt was awesome.
I want someone anywhere in any town of America or wherever to sit down and fully explain to me
why,
with a straight face,
why
the punting touch rules.
What do you mean the punting touch? The fact that it can't go past the 35?
If the ball no. If I'm punting, Hunter.
Yeah.
And my teammate slaps the ball on the 15 and it goes in the end zone.
Yeah.
Where are they going to put the ball?
At the 35.
That's if I touch the ball on the 15-yard line.
Yeah, it's a rule. It's
and it rolls in the end zone.
Yeah, it's to prevent touchbacks.
They would put the ball back on the 15 where they touched it. That's what I'm saying.
The rules now in the XFL is anything that goes out of bounds.
I'm talking about NFL. In football.
Yeah.
When you punt the ball.
Oh, you're talking about the defense slapping it out. Okay, yeah.
If I punt the ball.
Yeah.
And my teammate goes down to cover, and he touches the ball at the 25-yard line, and it rolls into the end zone, they would put that ball at the 25.
Right.
If I touch it at the 2-yard line and it goes in the end zone, they call it a touchback. What I want to know is, where's the line? Is there a certain yard line? Is there certain rules that the ball has to stop? You see what I'm saying? All the time, the defenders will say touch it at the 40, it'll roll back to the 20, and they'll say, well, it's down at first touch.
Right.
But that doesn't count. First touch doesn't count if you do it at the 1-yard line or 2-yard line. That may be the most confusing rule about football that I do not understand how it works at all. And maybe someone could explain it better. But I think I'm getting the gist of what I'm trying to say across. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Like that aggravates me.
I get it, but I kind of like the XFL's rule where it's like you have to at least punt the ball to where it's playable. Because that's the one thing the XFL doesn't want are dead plays. They don't want no action. They want that's the whole entertainment value of it. They want to bring back the punt return being special, the kick return being special, which I can understand that, and I like that. I know that takes away from a spectacular punt that Marquette King had. Good Lord. But
it was disgusting.
It was disgusting. If you like,
punt disgusting.
Yeah, if you can call a punt disgusting, that thing just sailed. But here's the thing: I understand wanting to give somebody, the return man, at least an opportunity, because then it's like his job's wasted. It's like, what is he good for? The guy's just gonna punt it towards the back of the end zone, anyways. Yeah, I completely understand it. And how exciting did it used to be when Devin Hester would have an opportunity to run one back? So I'm all for it, man.
Well, I tell you what, I expected to see more trickeration.
Yeah,
I think they would have encouraged that more. I did see you were talking about the practice time and everything, And Jerry Glanville, I can't believe he's out there coaching. Oh, goodness. I met Jerry Glanville in the Falcons Hotel in about 1988, 89-ish, when they still had the red uniforms. Deion Sanders on the team.
Yeah.
Actually, nope, let me back that up. They just switched the black uniforms. So if you can figure out whatever year that was, because Andre Rison was there.
Yeah.
And I saw Andre Rison, but I didn't get a chance to get his autograph. I got the other wide receiver's autograph at the time. It was Michael. Oh, God, I can't remember. Michael something. He was good. Got his autograph and Jerry Glanville's autograph. Glanville's wearing a cowboy hat walking out of there.
Yeah.
And we just happened to be staying there at the same hotel, and that's their training. That was their training camp practice facility hotel all in one. But I thought that was neat. But Jerry Glanville was out there talking about how they or simplifying the offenses was there's one of the coaches that's got a West Coast type of offense, and I recognized when they were calling some of the plays and how they did it. It's a lot. We did a lot of that in high school where you would say a word instead of 10 words basically. So that would be the whole play.
Yeah.
So we're running Gator instead of quarterback. Instead of going, split left, whatever.
Yeah.
XYZ.
I like that. Do you like that part of the broadcast that you can hear the calls coming down?
Kind of, sort of. My only question is how that affects the gambling. And in this 100, we see teams cheat all the time at certain levels.
Yeah.
Is there going to be someone sitting in one of the TV booths listening to that other play calls and stuff and be like, hey guys, they're running this.
Right.
Tiger is a split left or whatever.
Yeah, but the thing is
I worry about the gambling part on that.
The only thing that I'm like, I'm just fine with it because if you have a guy that's watching the TV broadcast, there's a delay on it. So just because you can hear him call that play down doesn't mean that if you're scouting for the team that they're playing, doesn't mean that you're going to get the call in time to be able to tell the defense exactly what they're running. So now you can make mental notes of what they're doing on the field when that's called. But here's the thing: you're not sitting in that war. You're not sitting in the offensive coordinator room when you are actually playing the team. So you're not hearing what the call is.
Right.
You just have to go off of what they're doing at the line. You just got to read just what the offensive formation is. So I was fine with it, and I was definitely fine with the transparency they were trying to bring when it came to reviews on penalties. How they would go up and actually show the review team working on it. I was fine with that too.
That was pretty cool. We're showing the folks online that if you're of course listening to the podcast you can't see, but you can go back and watch on Facebook. I'm showing the touchdown scoring plays so the folks on Facebook can see the scoring plays and on YouTube and everything. As far as anything else specific like you saw different or let's talk about the kickoffs.
Yeah.
You like, don't like, do you like?
I like
kickoffs?
the kickoffs.
And that's where one thing I was surprised we didn't see a more trickeration is what I got on that, because the kickoffs, I think with it being new, and nobody's ever seen anything, it opens it up to a lot of being able to do a lot of trick plays with those. Now, and I do have a question, and you might not even be able to answer it. What's the rules on the double forward pass on the kickoffs?
I have no idea. I'm seriously.
There used to be a rule in football. You ever heard the fair catch pass rule type thing?
No,
you used to could catch the pass, catch a kick.
Yeah.
And as long as your feet weren't never moved, you could throw it. You ever played that one before? That style.
No.
That's some backyard rules right there. But I was wondering if they had any fun rules like that. So anyway, some of the games we'll go over real quick. I'll stop the video for that. XFL stats. New York Guardians 23-3 over the Vipers.
All of this can be found on XFL.com.
McGlowan 15-29, 182. In the win for the Guardians. I probably need to say that on everybody because we won't know who plays for who. And the loss for the Tampa Bay Vipers, D. Smith, they don't want me. What they are lacking right now is internet. They've got a good setup, but there's things like you can't click on certain things. Like I can't click and find out that guy's name if I want.
They just got they got to just work on the layout of the website,
right?
And their links for statistics. But I mean,
they
give you the stats if you just want to go by last names. It's fine.
Right.
The only one I know right there that you're talking about is Aaron Murray, and he got benched.
Receiving for the Vipers, Williams had 9 catches, 123 yards.
Yeah.
They had the big yardage and everything. They had way more yards, it seemed like. I remember watching part of this game, and Glanville was talking about the 2 touchdowns they gave up, Hunter, were both miscommunications. One of them, there was a cover 3. The corner came up and wasn't supposed to. I can't remember what he said on the other one. So, according to Glanville, that score should have been probably closer to 15, like all field goals, 15-30.
Well, here's another thing, too. The 2 turnovers killed them. Then they came early. Aaron Murray, he threw a pick in the end zone. That could have been a touchdown for the Vipers. Defensive DB just jumps the pass. It could have been a big touchdown for the Vipers. Funny thing is, the Vipers are the ones that had the best odds this year.
Did they?
Over 7.5 games to win, and they come up losing their first one. So, that's a hard way to start the season. They still have 9 games to go, though, so that'd be all right.
Here's one for Hunter.
Yeah.
Retweet if your team is still undefeated in XFL history.
Nice, man. I can retweet that one. I can retweet that one. I really can.
Oh, that's funny. I like them playing like that. Hunter wants to talk his St. Louis Battlehawks, who won in the field goal contest. 15-9.
It wasn't the field goal contest. Not at all.
There was one touchdown.
One touchdown. And was thrown by Tamu. He was pretty. I thought Tamu played well.
Actually,
yeah. I think he.
I can't. We can't. That's hard.
Well,
I was judging off. I was judging off the score, and I totally forgot 2, 3, 4, 5 points, whatever they are.
Yeah.
So 15-9.
If you can find that, well, here's the thing.
I've got the scores.
This was the fun. This was the fun part. So Dallas came in because they have it on the screen. The stuff that you can bet on. Dallas was a 9.5. They were a 9.5 point favorite. And the over-under was like 52. So if you bet the under and you bet St. Louis to cover 9.5, you got it.
You got it. I got a predictive true or false for you today.
Okay, predictive true or false.
This is a Nostradamus true or false. So you have to put your
I have to put my thinking cap. Okay.
True or false? The DC Defenders.
Yeah.
Or the Dallas Renegades will win an XFL title before the Washington Redskins
or the
Dallas Cowboys.
That's okay. You said
true. Now, they got better chances.
True or false?
It's 1 and 4 actually.
Yeah. True or false? I'm going true.
True,
because DC's looked so good, man. They came out and won their game 31-19. Their offense was electric. Defense played really good. But when it comes to St. Louis, obviously this is the first game, the first season of XFL, and I have been now a self-proclaimed Battlehawk fan because I think their logo is sick, and I like Jordan Tamu.
It's like something out of the Navy.
But he had a great game, 20 for 27, 74% completion, and not only did he do it through the air with a touchdown, he had no interceptions. He had 209 yards in the air, but he had 77 rushing yards from a quarterback.
Is that Cameron Artis-Payne?
Yeah. Cameron Artis-Payne's
in the league. He threw a pass, completed a pass, 10-yard pass.
There's a little bit of trickery there. So overall,
how do you come out of the NFL and you only get?
I know. Overall yardage for Tamu. Overall yardage for Tamu was like 284. Is
that Lance Dunbar?
Yeah, Lance Dunbar, running back. Matt Jones, starting running back for the Battlehawks, was a Washington Redskin for a little while.
The running backs, these college kids, sitting on these rosters, these college rosters. I mean, running backs. These people will pay. Think about that. So between those 5, they had 8, 9 people that rushed the ball yesterday in that one game alone. Battlehawks and Renegades. Hunter and I've been talking a bit. They don't have a college rule. Like, you can come out of high school and play in this league. Somebody somewhere, especially I think a running back's going to take chances on this league.
I think it would be smart, and I think the XFL could really thrive if they didn't make any rule like the NFL does, where you have to go 3 years to college.
Right.
And this is why we brought it up a little bit before we came on the show, and I took it from a podcast that I had listened to on my way here to do our show today. And it's like the XFL, obviously, week 1 had a great week. They had like 3.3 million viewers. No, maybe it might have been even 33 million. No. I just knew it was a 3 and a 3, and it was a million, okay? So that's obviously great outreach, and it really helps because of the channels that they're being played on. ABC, ESPN, Fox Sports, they have a good fan base and they're accessible to everybody. But I agreed
Hunter,
with the podcast.
I have seen more XFL games than Charlotte Hornet games this year.
On television, absolutely.
Think about what I just said.
Yeah, absolutely.
Opening weekend of the XFL, and I live in Charlotte, and I have regular TV. I don't have cable. I have seen now officially more XFL games than Charlotte Hornet games.
And that's what they have to do to generate excitement. But I agreed with this, and I told you this as well. What they're struggling with right now is star power. The biggest name that they had in Landry Jones, who was the first one that they signed to the XFL, was supposed to be the quarterback of the Renegades, and he ends up getting hurt. Second biggest was probably Cardale Jones, and everybody just knows him from Ohio State and winning a national championship there. So they have small star names, and they have some names that you recognize. Like, for me, Matt Jones. He was a running back in Washington for a few years. I recognize that name. You recognize the running backs' names. Like Cameron Artis-Payne was here, did a little stint in Carolina. So there are some names that you notice. But all it's going to take is just like how the USFL worked. That one guy, Herschel Walker, ends up going to the USFL and then goes to the NFL. All it takes is maybe... and
the
this
Maurice
is way
Clarett
out there.
situation. All it takes is a James Wiseman, Hunter.
Yeah.
Is the NCAA telling... What if the NCAA came hard down... Think about this. If the XFL came out 2 years ago, and the NCAA came down hard on Carolina and Chaz and them for the shoes and the selling the shoes, Chaz Surratt could be a quarterback right now in the XFL.
Player right? If I'm not mistaken,
he
was. I know he's a player in the league. What team he plays for, I cannot remember. They had a story on ESPN.com a few weeks ago. I talked about it. He got dismissed from West Virginia's football team. If he wanted to play again in college, because he still has college eligibility, he only has 1 year. But he has to sit out for a year.
So
Instead,
2 years penalty.
Technically 2-year penalty. Instead of him doing that, he's playing in the XFL this year, building up a tape reel, and he's going to go to the NFL and try for the NFL
Let's say
draft.
he gets $75,000 to $100,000 in 2 years playing in the NFL. Then if he doesn't get NFL job, he can always use that money to get back to community college and finish what he's doing. PJ Walker's the quarterback for the Roughnecks.
Yeah.
23 of 39, 272, 4 touchdowns, and a pick.
PJ Walker.
For the Houston Roughnecks.
And PJ Walker played at Temple. He played at Temple. So, he didn't play at a huge school, but he got an opportunity here. And if that can translate in the XFL, maybe it could translate to the NFL. A lot of these guys are probably going to get NFL looks. When the AAF dissolved, I know Cleveland was a team that went out and signed an AAF quarterback to be a backup. To Baker. So, there's a lot. If you don't support the league, you really should. And this is not just me saying that because I love the idea of it. It's not bad football. And what I heard somebody say is, well, how is the season going? How is the league going to do when March hits? Because we're going to have March Madness. And I'm thinking, well, I think it's going to survive because these games are played Saturdays and Sundays. And they're only 2 games.
Why didn't Josh Johnson play this weekend?
Well, I'm not sure.
It's showing Kanoff and McClendon played.
Yeah.
Kanoff played the whole game.
Well, Josh Johnson, I think Josh Johnson was a late addition to Los Angeles. He's only been there. Well, and then and I think the quarterback that they have now, or that they played, Kanoff, they said he was only in camp for 5 weeks because he was a trade. They traded for him from New York. So
Houston wins 37-17. New York over the LA Wildcats. New York Guardians win 23-3 over Tampa Bay Vipers. And the Dallas Renegades follow home to the St. Louis Battlehawks.
That was,
15-9.
There you go. We can say the Battlehawks 1-0 on the season, and they're 1-0 on road games, and the only team to win a road game in the opening weekend. So, hey,
future XFL
champion.
DC
I'm buying
Defenders.
a shirt. I don't know about that.
DC Defenders.
No, look, I like DC just because, this is what's so funny. On the podcast I listened to, one of them, he's grown up a Redskins fan, and he said, I had more fun at this XFL game in DC than I have had in 20 years at FedEx watching the Redskins.
Let's see if I took that picture right or not. Let me check. Hunter.
So look, just for me to say it again, support the XFL. It's got a lot of things to like about it, and a lot of opportunities for other guys to come up. But that's what I mean. All I'm saying is all it's going to take is maybe a Trevor Lawrence to forego his junior season because he doesn't want to get injured for free, go and get paid and play in the XFL, and then go to the NFL. Everybody knows what his tape is from college already. Why not go and do it against guys that had an opportunity at the next level and show out? That's all I'm saying. That's all it's going to take, and it'll blow up. It will blow up.
Austin Prohl, Ricky's son.
Yeah, he played.
5 catches, 88 yards, 2 touchdowns for Austin Prohl.
And think about it. I think he's a slot receiver. He might get a look.
I'm going to be calling them the East Lincoln Dragons forever.
Because of their colors.
They look exactly like East Lincoln, except they got a dragon logo instead of the horse on their helmet.
I liked it. And see, it's one of those things too where like I obviously didn't get to see all of the games. I was just busy throughout the day, but I would turn it on, and what I saw, I liked. Because it's football. If you don't like watching football, I can't help you. You're not going to watch it anyways. But think about it. Are you gonna watch football this coming weekend, or are you going to watch a regular season NBA game? Maybe even the All-Star game, which is garbage.
Not going to be able to watch the Hornets.
Exactly.
Oh, it is All-Star weekend.
Yeah, it is All-Star weekend.
We do got to talk about that.
We can talk about that closer to it.
Yeah.
Because that game's when?
Well, the rookie stuff's Friday night, and Saturday night is
we'll definitely be able to talk about it.
Saturday is the dunk and the 3-point contest. We'll break down with Terry and the gang on Saturday. Friday we'll do whatever we can on that.
Yeah.
The Hunter, you was talking about the Redskins fans as opposed to the Defenders fans.
Mm-hmm.
I did see, and I meant to screenshot it, but I obviously didn't, that Redskins tickets were actually, in different parts of the stadium, are lower
than XFL
tickets in certain parts of the stadium, especially in the upper deck. There were $4 at one point this year in the Redskins. I think the lowest that the XFL was selling them were 10.
Well, and they're playing in a smaller stadium. They're playing where the DC United team plays, the soccer team. It's at like Audi Stadium or Audi Arena.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty nice too, because then if you're not going to have a lot of people probably at first. So it makes the stadium look more filled up, which is fine.
What's your spread in a Redskins versus Defenders game?
I think I'm not going to disrespect the NFL, but I do think it would be at least an 8-point game. I think it would be Redskins -8. But I don't know. I cannot. But here's the thing. That's only because Washington's got a lot, like the Redskins, they have a lot of talent on the defensive side of the ball. And they have high draft picks on the offensive side of the ball. If they can just get it clicking, they could really do some damage. But DC didn't look bad. And it's the XFL. They'll have that conversation forever. Which team can beat which team? They do the same thing with can Alabama beat the worst team in NFL? They do the same thing and we gotta remember those are NFL players at the end of the day. Those are the best players from college at the next level.
Yeah, they can't, but it's just fun to just
I know.
talk chunk.
I know.
So let's see. Defenders games were anywhere. The Defenders tickets were from $24 to $170 per ticket. So 24 was the lowest ticket.
Well, that's not bad. $24 for a ticket. Go for 2 people.
That's 6 people at a Redskins game.
Yeah.
That's 6 people.
Dan Snyder making a lot of money.
Ticket.
Making a lot of money.
At the Defenders game, the lowest price ticket at the Defenders game is 6 times more expensive.
I don't know. Now, I don't know if they do it in this league, but it would not surprise me because every league they love like little trophies to give out. They love awards. Cardale Jones, early MVP favorite.
Gosh.
Early MVP favorite for the XFL season 1. Cardale Jones, quarterback of the DC Defenders. He had a great game. 16 for 26, 235 yards, 2 touchdowns. Dude. Yeah, but they talk about MVP stuff after week 2 sometimes. They talk about Heisman before the season even starts in college football. So why not? Why not? That'd be the first time that DC has an MVP in a long time.
Is Mosley the last MVP?
Maybe.
Is he the only MVP y'all had?
Now, the last award that we got was RG3 Rookie of the Year. That was the last player award that we got.
I'm not sure you guys have a MVP
season MVP
besides the kicker in the strike year.
Oh man,
I mean it's the truth. Don't shoot the messenger here. Let's see if I can pull it up. All right, here we go, folks. We'll scroll back through the years. Back to back. Theismann won it after the kicker did. So there you go, Hunter. So Theismann saved the embarrassment of the franchise. And what I was about to say, folks, you looking down here in the middle, Joe Theismann, 1983 MVP. What you'll notice right before that is Mark Mosley, the Redskins MVP. That is a kicker. So when people start throwing out MVP awards and how important they are, granted it was the strike season. I think he actually set the NFL record for points that year.
They might have.
Because that's the only thing they could do was kick. Mosley was the MVP. Ken Anderson the year before that, and Cleveland Brown great Brian Sipe was the 1980 MVP. True or false, Hunter? Brian Sipe has as many Super Bowl wins as Cam Newton.
True.
And MVPs. That's how I got to reword that. And MVPs.
True.
As Cam Newton. Yeah, we talked about these MVPs the other day, how only one has won only 6 have won a Super Bowl and an MVP in the same season. It hasn't happened since the 1990 season. Kurt Warner and the St. Louis Rams. A Ram won it 3 straight years, but Hunter, after that first year, they changed the uniforms to gold and never won the Super Bowl again. You can't change your Super Bowl uniform.
No,
I mean, I fully blame it on that. I 100% blame it on the uniform change. They don't. Rams fans don't really go there, but I'll go there. You can't jinx it like that. So even though I'm really not a superstitious person at all, but for some reason that bothered me.
That bothered you?
That really bothered me.
That bothered you.
Like, buy all of our Super Bowl stuff, and then 2 months later, hey, here's some new gear. Buy our new color that we've never had before, gold. It's not like gold is a St. Louis color. It was just weird. Just weird to me. All right, Hunter. Any more XFL thoughts? Looking forward to this weekend?
I am looking forward to this weekend. Hopefully, I'll be able to sit down and watch more extended parts of the game. I was able to at least watch first or second half of games, especially the St. Louis game because it was later in the day, and they had it on at the restaurant I went to. It was kind of a sports bar, and that's what it's going to take for the league to really shine. Is instead of these sports bars, maybe putting on a college game that's going to be like St. Mary's versus another random team, and not a big game like North Carolina Duke is.
There was some basketball games on my regular television.
Yeah.
During the XFL games, and I'm like, I'd much rather be watching the XFL than
that's what I'm saying.
Whatever this
now
this game
the Duke
is.
North Carolina game was different. Obviously, that's a premier game in college basketball. But a regular season NBA game where maybe half the kids are actually trying out there and half of them aren't.
You and I were at the Hornets Mavericks game.
Yeah,
and what may have been the worst performance by a Hornets team. And I actually went. I was at the game. Was it last year or the year before?
Yeah.
Where they tied the record for biggest blowout by a team. So every time I go, they just get stomped in the ground.
They scored 10 points in the first quarter.
Luka Doncic and Kristaps Porzingis did not even start. Real quick before I get on that, XFL this weekend 2-5 on Saturday. New York at DC, Tampa at Seattle, and Sunday Dallas at LA at 3:00 and at 6:00 St. Louis at Houston. Back to the Hornets.
Yeah,
that was god awful. As always, an embarrassment. Almost as always, as an embarrassment. And then Hunter got sassed from the coach after the game. And we don't have to get into it if you don't want to.
I mean, we can, but what a joke.
We don't have to. But the thing about it is, Hunter was questioned about who he was, and he's a media member with an obvious past and supposed to be there.
I'll just say it. Look, I'm sitting there in the press conference room.
Right.
I'm supposed to be there. I have a media pass. He's lucky I really even walked in because I wanted to go and hear what Coach Carlisle had to say for Dallas. But I decided, you know what? I'll come in here and see what Coach Borrego has to say because I had a question I wanted to ask him.
He's right about that. Is that because when I'm there, he wanted to know where Hunter was. Basically, he doesn't never see us. I gotta let Hunter take exact words, but I'll give you in Borrego's defense. When I'm there, I usually am listening to the other team's coach because they're only there once.
Especially if they're a Western Conference team.
If it's a Western Conference team, they're only there once. Yes. And 2, most of the times the Hornets are losing.
I agree.
So what am I supposed to go there and ask him about, and then Hunter ask him a question?
So look, here's the thing, man. I'm in there, and no lie, in this conference room, he wouldn't have had a press conference if I wouldn't have asked him a question, because there were only 3 of us in there really that had media credentials and could ask him a question. And that's the truth. Hornets, if you're listening to me, that was unacceptable. It really made me mad. I'm sitting there, and the first 2 guys ask a question, and I'm getting ready to ask him a question. And I get maybe through the first 5 words of my question, and Coach Borrego cuts me off and says, "Who are you? I don't see you in here." And I'm thinking, dude, could you? First of all, you could have asked that after I asked my question,
Right.
So you didn't have to cut me off, because now I have to gather myself and rethink what the hell I was about to ask you.
You know,
all
like
right?
where you were going.
I did, yeah. I don't care. I mean,
Hunter, what was your question?
Okay,
It wasn't even a bad.
It wasn't even a bad question. So for those of you that are Hornets fans that are watching,
Most people are gonna be like, "You're
and-
giving him attitude, weren't you, Hunter?"
No, for those
Anyway.
if you're Hornets fans and you're watching or listening, then you know that the front office actually did something nobody thought the front office would actually do. They bought out Marvin Williams and Michael Kidd-Gilchrist. They bought them out, and they moved off of them. Great. Fantastic. So I'm sitting there, and I'm getting ready to – and this was the question when I finally was able to get it out of my mouth to Coach Borrego after basically being insulted for damn being there. I asked him. I said, you saw the front office moves, moving off of Marvin Williams and MKG. Does this mean that you're looking to go play some of the younger guys more minutes? And I'm kind of paraphrasing it because I can't remember what exactly I told him, but I know I know what my topic was. Are you going to play young, and are you possibly thinking about dipping into the G League, pulling up some guys moving around? Because to me, I wasn't going to say it, but I really wanted to say it after he basically dissed me like that. I really wanted to say, bro, you're in 6th place in the lottery.
Borrego.
Like, dude, bro, why are you
You
coming?
think he's gonna be coach?
Why are
You think he's gonna be the
me?
coach next year?
Yeah, because he can lean back with the fact to say we're young, we're gonna get some players. We just moved off some of the older guys. Give me another year. But here's the thing: when he told me that, and then he answered my question a little bit about, yeah, we're going to have to play young, but we still want to play competitive basketball. I'm like, bro, you were down 31 to a team that didn't even have its 2 star players on it.
Yeah, break that down real quick.
Then you lost by 16, basically because Carlisle called off the Dogs. That's the only reason why the Hornets didn't get beat by 31. For God's sakes, they only scored 10 points in the first quarter. At one time, the score was like 15-2. With 5 minutes to go in the quarter. I don't understand. I just don't understand. And especially why he had the audacity to look at me and be like, who are you? What's it matter? I'm in here for a reason. Obviously, I'm the media. Let's not try and get smart. I wasn't going to ask you a smart-ass question anyways. That's beside the point. That really made me mad, and I thought it was very unprofessional of him because it was kind of like a jab at me. You didn't have to be that way. Beside the point. Anyways, the Hornets are a joke. The real problem that the Hornets have, to me, we've talked about it a lot, me and Kevin, they don't really have a wing scorer. Fine, I get that. Even though Miles Bridges had 20 points last night, he maybe shot 15, 20% from the three-point line. He can't shoot from the outside. P.J. Washington can't really shoot on a consistent basis from the three-point line either. So they just have to drive and hope that their athleticism gets them to the rim and they score. Another problem that they have, and it was really on display last night against Dallas, they're undersized almost at every position. I get it. Point guards don't have to be big. But Devontae Freeman and Terry Rozier, both of them are about 6'1", 6'2". The guards themselves, I know Tim Hardaway Jr. because they played Terry Rozier at the 2. Tim Hardaway Jr. is the 2 for the Mavericks. Hardaway Jr. is like 6'5", 6'6". You mean he can't body up on a guy that's 6'1", 6'2"? Come on now. He can take him to the hole at any time. The team is just small. When you're telling me the biggest player you have, and he's a true 7-footer, is Cody Zeller, but then the guy after that comes in off the bench to back him up is 6'8", against the team that just traded for Willie Cauley-Stein, came out with a double-double, 15 and 11, if I'm not mistaken. So why didn't you trade for him when Golden State had him on the block? He's still on a rookie contract. He's very young, and he's athletic enough to get at the rim. That's another true 7'1" guy.
We can't.
And here's the thing that I liked about Willie Cauley-Stein the most. He's like an athletic big. Cody Zeller might have some athleticism on him, but he's slow-footed. Man, he's slow-footed. He'd get beat by those athletic bigs. They're so small. Even Miles Bridges is undersized for them to play him at the 4. He's 6'8".
You know, Cody had the highest vertical in his draft.
Yeah, great. You can jump high, but does that mean laterally you're quick enough to keep up with some of the guys? To me, it's a big glaring problem that I saw because they got out rebounded last night.
Real quick, back about the press conference. Did any of the other reporters identify themselves with who they were when they started talking?
No.
I was just wondering, that happens sometimes. I was just wondering if that's where he was thinking, or if he was just...
they literally would just sat at the front
in the ground.
and they both just asked their questions. Every time I've been there has not been a single reporter that's like, "Oh, I'm such and such with such and such." They just ask him a question.
Right, got you.
So I don't know if he was like, "Oh, look at this fan trying to ask me a question." I'm like, "Bro,
he was in a pissy mood, but obviously,
yeah, I'd be pissed off too if I was getting ready to get fired." No, they're not gonna fire him, but I would. I don't like him anyways because I think he's an idiot.
I mean, if you think it's just that, man, they didn't have their 2 top players. Hunter, did I not sit there and say on the floor?
Yeah.
Hey, there's no Luka, no Porzingis. Hornets might win tonight.
That's exactly what you said.
And it was
what?
16-2 is how it started. 16-2.
They scored 10 points in the first quarter. 10 points.
The guy, honestly, God bless the guy behind me. I actually I took my family, and we said, and the guy behind me was definitely a Hornets fan, and him and his son were pulling, and it was a sad conversation that was going on behind me at a lot of points in the
tough,
game.
Man.
My nephew, this was his first Hornets game, and he was pulling hard for the Hornets, and he was like, "Why are we getting beat so bad?" I was like, "Buddy, I'm sorry. They do this a lot."
And what's so bad is everybody came that night because there was a great crowd. They really wanted to see Luka, and they wanted to see Porzingis, and neither one of them played.
Right. And they won.
And they won by 16. We're up at one point by 31. And I said it on air just to say, the only reason why they came back within 16 is because Carlisle called off the dogs and put in the third strings.
Yeah, Carlisle's a good interview after the games. He's interesting. He'll elaborate. He is moody. As well.
Carlisle and Popovich in interviews, they're very similar. You'll get more out of Carlisle, but just like Pop, don't catch him at the wrong moment. He's moody. He's very moody. Very moody. But I was just, and I'm not talking about the interview anymore, but just what I saw last night from the Hornets, I'm like, you guys right now are in 6th in the lottery. You might move up by the end of the season.
That's what their game plan is.
I guess
They're only 3 games out of that. I think 3 games out of the top draft pick. And,
I guess I don't really know what to want to gauge by them because to me, in all seriousness, their lack of size and their lack of wing scoring kills them. Because how do you expect to win a game when you get out rebounded almost by 15 boards? Like offensive rebound wise, they were very similar both teams, but they got killed on defensive rebounds. They got killed.
Yes.
And I know it's tough because they do have a 7'1" guy in Willie Cauley-Stein and a 7'4" guy when Boban comes in. He just stands there and grabs the ball off the rim.
The dad behind me was like, "Yeah, we can't stop anybody and we can't shoot, so this isn't looking good."
That's really how it goes every night for basketball. And the one thing I really noticed too, Dallas moved the ball so much better than the Hornets did. When they came down and got in a half-court set, Dallas was passing the ball left, right, around the top of the key so much, it looked like Spurs basketball. And to me, that's another shot at coaching. That's another shot at coaching because that's what Carlisle wants them to do. I have no idea what Borrego wants them to do because half the time it's Devontae Graham or Terry Rozier playing hero ball trying to drive the lane or hawk up a 3 because that's the only kind of scoring they can get. They kick the ball to the corner to 2 guys that really can't shoot consistent threes, in P.J. Washington and Miles Bridges.
Yeah,
I like Miles Bridges, like as a person, because I interviewed him last year. He's a really nice kid, and I know he's only in his 2nd year, but like his jump shot is not as good as it was. Like, it's just not exponentially better than it was last year. And you got to be able to stretch the floor at the 4 position now, and he just can't. So they basically just say, yeah, man, hey, it looked, on the court when you're about to pull a 3 and they're so disrespectful, they're off you by 2-3 feet. That's basically what they do to him because he's going to miss this. Let's just get the boards. Let's just have numbers in the paint and get the board. That's exactly what they did. So the Hornets, I don't know, man. Just look forward to the NBA lottery. That's all you got to look forward to. Pray that somebody messes up and they get maybe a top 2 pick.
Did you get into the Hornets locker room?
I took Tom to the Hornets locker room, but I said, I have nothing to ask them. We can leave. That's exactly what we did.
It's a nice locker room.
Oh, it is a very nice locker room. I told him this compared to the visitors' locker room. It's they're going to treat them like trash.
The visitors' locker room is just basic as it gets.
I told you how Kristaps didn't say anything to me when I was walking out. So Terry Rozier was walking behind me and Tom when we were leaving. I was like, good game, Terry. Didn't say a word to me. I'm just being nice. I mean, I know that like half the time they really don't want to talk about it, and you did just lose by 16, so you probably really didn't want to speak. Another thing I saw too, their whole starting five when you go plus minus was minus. The whole starting 5 for the Charlotte Hornets was minus. I think one of them was like minus 20. So I'm telling you, it's tough, man. If you're a Hornets fan, it's tough. If you can get a good draft pick right now, the problem is the only one I know that can be like surefire picks, LaMelo can damn score. People might not like him just because of what his daddy is, but he can score.
Oh yeah, he ain't coming to Charlotte.
But he's not coming to Charlotte. If he gets drafted by the Hornets, they'll pull a Kobe Bryant and and he says, I'm not playing in Charlotte.
I did see somebody say the worst thing that ever happened to them was Kobe saying he didn't want to play in Charlotte, and that was the.
I mean, that hurts. I mean, it really does. But who knows?
Who knows?
LeVar. What if LeVar is like, he can play underneath? Did you say that same organization Michael's at? You know, I don't know. You would think that would hold a little bit more weight in the NBA. Be like, hey, man, I get to talk basically to MJ every day, but they really don't care. They really don't care. But also, if you can somehow get the 1 or 2 pick and they don't take Wiseman at 1, that's a 7'1" guy that's so athletic and can get to the board with ease. Like, why not? Move off of Zeller, big, slow Zeller. Definitely move off Biyombo, who at the center position is 6'8". Your team is not good enough with shooters to play small ball, so there's no reason for him to be on the floor.
I thought Cody would have developed a better shot by now.
For as long as he's been in the league.
He had the ability to turn into a Dirk type of player, and I think that's what they were looking at with that combined with his athleticism, and he hasn't consistently knocked down that shot. I think that's what they were looking for. All right, Hunter, let's play free agent carousel dominoes.
Yep, free agent carousel dominoes. I had it listed as basically off-season rumors.
Okay.
Just what everybody's they're not they are predictions, but it's just like possibilities.
So I'm gonna.
For those of you that are watching, this is you can go on ESPN and literally find this. It is predicting the 2020 NFL offseason.
Right.
And it's actually, I don't like ESPN, but I'll give them credit. This is actually pretty entertaining if you want to just go and read that.
I'm gonna get rid of some cams for during the week. I know I had to pull this up the next day, but whatever. Here, I guess I could put it over in this corner. I want to move some cameras around here, folks. Watching online. So you guys can see online exactly what we're doing. So we've got Tom Brady, Jadeveon Clowney, Cam Newton, AJ Green. We're not gonna play Melvin. We'll play Phillip Rivers. How about that? We might even play old Trent Williams here for you.
Well,
so
that's fine. You can play Trent Williams for me if you want. The thing is, I'm pretty optimistic we can re-sign him, or we can keep him. I think he's still under contract, but I'm pretty positive we can keep him, unless they just blow our doors away with what they're offering for him. I think we can keep him.
I'm gonna start with Trent then.
Okay.
All right. So Hunter Redskins fan. I'm pulling for the Browns. Was hoping this happened last year when he decided didn't want to play for you guys, but the way this works, folks, is that when you click a player that gives you 3 teams to pick for where he'll choose. Once you choose that team, then that sets up some dominoes on where everybody else will go.
And a lot of this is offensive lineman.
I'm not going to
movement.
play offensive lineman dominoes. I just wanted to read you
just where
the
he
Trent
could go.
Williams. It says Washington can't realistically expect to get the 10th overall selection for its left tackle, but Cleveland's second-round pick at 41 would be a reasonable return. The Browns desperately need to upgrade at left tackle. Would you take a second-round pick for Trent Williams, Mr. Redskin?
Yeah, because usually the first 3 rounds you can get a starter. If you're lucky and you have multiple picks in the first or second round, you can get a couple players, and we need players.
Mm-hmm.
To me, if we're gonna go Chase Young in the first round, that means with either our early pick in the second round or if we traded for this pick here, we need to go cornerback because we got to find an answer for Josh Norman. We're trying to move off Josh Norman. We don't want to pay his contract anymore. He gets beat regularly. So to us, we're looking for a cornerback. And if not, even if you trade the second-round pick and move, obviously, you move Trent Williams for this second-round pick, you can replace him with an offensive lineman. So the problem is that pick going to be of the caliber that Trent Williams is? Because he's rated as a top 5 left tackle, if not probably the best left tackle in football. So I don't know. Would I take it? Yeah, mostly if he says I definitely am not playing. Because then I'm like, we just got to unload him because we need something.
Okay.
You know, I would love a first-round pick for him. It's going to be tough. But if it's a team that really needs him, then I could see that happening. But the second rounder, I'm fine with it.
All right,
I'm fine with it. But I'm dead serious. I think we can work it out with Trent Williams.
I think this is the key to Brady will be the key to the postseason on where all the other dominoes will fall. So I want to do him before we do. Because
I'm looking with Trent Williams here, you know, because they give you 3 possibilities he could go, and you asked me would I take a second. I mean, I would for the Browns, but it says here, you know, the Dolphins, you know, if they have multiple first-round picks, the Dolphins they say that if they trade the 26th and a second-round pick, yeah, why not? That's a definite deal. And then they said the Patriots could trade their top pick and a second-round pick. So it's a later first-round pick and a second-round pick, but if you are the Washington Redskins and you're Coach Rivera and you can't work it out with Trent Williams, but you know you have needs on the team, why not try and get a haul like that? Because that's what a lot of people are saying. If they don't take Chase Young, the amount of draft picks that they can get might be able to rebuild this whole team. But I'm so sold on Chase Young that there's no way that happens.
All right, so
go to the quarterbacks.
This is going to get silly for a minute, so just follow my logic. I don't have to go down through the whole thing. But
if you're watching, then
it'll
you can read
it'll
on
be
the
much
screen.
easier watching.
Yeah,
but
yes.
if you're listening, that's fine. We're going to go through it. So this is predicting Brady to either the Bears, Chargers, or Colts.
And this is all the dominoes that fall.
This is what would
after.
happen. All right, if Brady signed with the Bears, Chicago would have to trade Leonard Floyd to clear up cap space. Patriots could then sign Cam Newton, Marcus Mariota, Mariota to the Panthers, Hunter. So Brady to the Bears somehow figures in to the Panthers situation, which would send maybe Cam to the Patriots and Mariota to the Panthers, Bridgewater to the Colts, Trubisky to the Dolphins. Do you think there's a possibility of Brady in Chicago?
There's always a possibility. It's a larger market in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we've said it before. How much pull is Giselle really going to have on where he goes because, you know, of her brand and the market values for her fashion? The thing is Chicago. Do you think Chicago really is a contender and they're just a quarterback away? And that's what a lot of people have to consider because to me, in all seriousness, if you have to make up space and you're trading Leonard Floyd, I don't think that's a smart move because Leonard Floyd is a key piece on that defense. I understand the trading Mitch Trubisky part because I understand that completely. You would just have a good backup there and then going obviously with Tom Brady, but trading Leonard Floyd has got so much speed off the edge. He plays a hybrid. They call him just edge. in the draft, that's what they call him now, edge. If they can play outside linebacker or defensive end, he's just so fast, and he's a sack machine.
All right. Brady to the Chargers, Hunter.
No, I could see that.
Then that would send, this is the ESPN's predictions, not ours. That would send Phillip Rivers to the Jaguars. Nick Foles traded to the Colts. Colts draft Tua. And Taysom Hill signs a 2-year offer sheet with the Raiders. And New England signs Teddy Bridgewater. So far, with 2 moves from Brady to the Bears would mean Patriots with Cam Newton.
Yeah.
And Brady to the Chargers would mean Patriots with Teddy Bridgewater.
I think Bridgewater is going to be at play for almost every team that needs a quarterback, especially the bubble teams that think they can make a playoff run.
Mm-hmm.
I could see Teddy Bridgewater in Tennessee. I could see Teddy Bridgewater if he gets re-signed by New Orleans, if somebody comes after Taysom Hill in New Orleans, because then they're going to be out of who they think is going to be the replacement for Drew Brees. So I think Teddy Bridgewater is in play for a lot of teams. He's got a winning record everywhere he's been. He's like 22-12.
We never bring up Matt Stafford in this. When we talk about all these quarterbacks moving, there's rumors swirling according to this that the Lions are considering moving on from Stafford and drafting a quarterback with one of their top picks. Excuse me. If Brady goes to the Colts, it says the Patriots could trade for Matt Stafford. I don't know what that Colts have to do with the Lions. Teddy Bridgewater to the Chargers. Jaguars trade with the Dolphins to move up and get Herbert. Eagles somehow acquire Nick Foles. All right. What do you like the most? Brady, Bears, Chargers, or Colts?
The one I think that would fit the best is the Colts. I think he would do fantastic with the Colts. He's got an offensive mind at head coach with Reich.
Right.
Who was a part of the Super Bowl team for the Eagles and was one of the main reasons that they got such great quarterback play out of Carson Wentz and Nick Foles.
I think there's smoke to this Cowboys fire. I really do.
Talks about him possibly
Brady
going to the Cowboys.
Well, why didn't Jerry give Dak an extension? Why did Brady do everything he has to act like he's moving out of town?
Yeah.
Why, if you're Tom Brady, Hunter,
yeah,
where would you want to play? Honestly, why would he want to go to Chicago? It's cold, just like New England. You're old.
Yeah.
You'd think you'd want, if I'm going to spend the end of my career, where do I want to finish my team? Either a marquee franchise while trying to win the Super Bowl or in some type of nice destination with your family for promotion. And I don't think Chicago fits either one of those for Brady. I think the setup is for Dallas, L.A., or Oakland. I think that's
I could
the
see
setup.
that. The only reason
best football
team to me out of those three would be the Colts. Could be the Colts, yeah.
But Brady in Dallas. Now, remember, this would be no Jason Garrett.
No Jason Garrett.
Brady with Mike McCarthy in Dallas with a good line and a good running game.
I mean, I could see it. I could see it.
Dez Bryant's talking about coming back.
Yeah.
Brady and Dez.
But does Dallas bring Dez back?
Brady and Dez in Dallas for 2 years. Like what? If you're going to finish your career in Brady, Dallas is you finish with a star on your helmet, or you say the Chargers because it's a new stadium and it's L.A. That's why it's not to be a San Diego Charger.
Well, they also have the best roster probably to try and win now. The problem was with them last year. They really wanted to move off Phillip because his age started to show, whereas Tom Brady's age has yet to show, but it's right there cusping that eventually it will. But they were just injury-riddled all over the place. Injuries. Everybody just got hurt. The defense was decimated by injuries. They lost, I think, 2 tackles to injury on the offensive side. So, that's tough. That's tough. But if everybody's healthy, the Chargers, out of those 3 teams that were listed, could be the best one to get him to for him, playing in a fancy market, yes. But the Colts, to me, still have the best because their coach, I think, is better than Anthony Lynn.
So that moves us over to.
But here's the question, and here's the question too: if he goes to the Chargers, think about it. Does he really want to play Patrick Mahomes 2 times a year?
I don't know.
Like that is who is standing in his way.
I think Dallas is the best spot.
Well, he has an opportunity to
The division's
to
not that
still
good
win.
at all.
Yeah, he has an opportunity to still win. But
Good
Giants
team,
fans
Dallas.
are gonna think they're gonna get 2 wins every year because they're the Brady killers.
I mean, and they haven't signed Dak. This would be a good chance to move on from Dak.
Yeah.
I mean, either Jerry has to say, I want to give Dak 120 to 150 million dollars,
Right.
or take a chance here in my late years. That's what I think. You got to think about that too. It's late in his life. AJ Green. Let's do him. 49ers, Colts, or Raiders? Which one you like the best?
The one I like the best for him is the 49ers.
All right, so let's put him in the 49ers. If AJ goes to the 49ers, that means Emmanuel Sanders would go to the Jets, Robbie Anderson to the Packers, Hooper to the Patriots, and the Patriots get Dante Pettis, Aguilar to the Colts.
And the reason why I think the 49ers would be the spot, obviously, Kyle Shanahan, head coach. He's great on offensive schemes. They have a set quarterback, where the Colts and Raiders, it's still question about who their quarterback is. Because as of right now, Jimmy Garoppolo is the starting quarterback in San Francisco. I know there's questions about whether or not they would move off of him when his contract's done in April.
They could technically get Brady too.
Yeah. And see, this is what I don't like to see. The bottom line that's in yellow that's underneath AJ Green. You've seen him with Andy Dalton. Now imagine him with whoa. Let's not talk bad about the the winning seasons and the 4 10-win seasons that Andy Dalton has. No. Don't try and downplay Andy Dalton, because I think he's going to be a real play that nobody's really made at this point.
Mm-hmm. Well, AJ to the Raiders or Colts?
To the Raiders or the Colts? Out of those two, the one that I could see really panning out for him would be the Colts. I think it would make the Colts instantly a contender, depending on who the quarterback play is, because then they can not only just have A.J. Green, whoever they go and get at the tight end position, and they also have slot receiver Parrish that they got in the NFL draft from Ohio State, and then T.Y. Hilton. So that would really round out the receiving core in Indianapolis. It's just going to depend on the quarterback situation. You know, Jacoby Brissett can win you games, but he's not the future. Do they get somebody in free agency? Wouldn't it be something if Andy Dalton went to a team like the Colts and his buddy A.J. Green followed? They were both drafted together. They've been together with Cincinnati for so long. Now you actually have a full team with a great defense and offensive line for Andy Dalton, and out of the mess that has been Cincinnati for years. I think it works perfectly. The question is, will they have the cap space to sign both of them? Not sure.
Tim, sit down for 1 second, right? Or you don't have to sit down. If you want to sit down, just right here in this red chair, grab that mic right there. Go ahead and get in the spot, though, so people can see you at home. You can pull that mic around there to you. We just got done talking, Tim, Cowboys fan, real quick, about Brady signing. Would you want them to get rid of Dak and get Brady for 2 years?
No.
In Dallas?
No, I wouldn't. I'm a huge Brady fan, one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. But no, I would not want that. I think Dak would be fine. I think Dak's a great quarterback. I think Dak's a top 5 quarterback. I think he proved it last year. He just needs. I think he needs probably a little bit more weapons on offense. I think he needs another wide receiver. If they don't keep Cooper, if Cooper goes in free agency, which could very well happen, I think that it'd be really wise for them to go out and get a wide receiver on the market, or even draft another great wide receiver.
This is a wide receiver heavy class. Wide receiver.
Yeah,
there was
I agree with
there
you,
were like 40 at the combine.
Absolutely.
There's a ton of them.
I'm a Dak fan. I mean, he's a great leader. He's great in the locker room. He's a hard worker. He's the first one in the locker room, the last one to leave in the locker room. I mean, what more can you ask for? I mean,
win Super Bowls. That's what you could ask for. Hey, here's the question. This was the question everybody was arguing about. Dallas doesn't retire numbers.
True.
If Brady signs,
he'll be 12. Roger Staubach can give him that number in a heartbeat.
Would he be allowed to wear 12?
Absolutely, no doubt about it. I mean, Roger Staubach, the greatest cowboy ever, no doubt about it.
That's the question. Yeah. Is would that be?
Well, let me ask you this, Kevin, you and Hunter. If you're Roger Staubach and Tom Brady, say it happens, say they trade Dak, and say Tom Brady comes available and they get him be with the Cowboys.
Right.
You're Roger Staubach. What are you going to do? You're going to give him that number.
I would ask for a trade to the Redskins if they're going to give him my numbers. What I would do, I would say, yeah, y'all can sign him.
But here's the thing.
He better wear 21 or 13 or something.
12 in Dallas might be the greatest for Staubach, but 12 in the National Football League is the greatest. Is Tom Brady?
Oh, I agree with
you.
No doubt about that.
Easily. So when you see the number 12 in the NFL, it's Tom.
Well, I'm gonna tell you something,
but as
guys.
Dallas fans, it's Roger Staubach.
So if they trade in Green Bay for
Tom Brady,
would they let him wear 12?
Aaron Rodgers is losing 12.
Guys, I'm gonna tell you right now. I saw Staubach play pretty much his whole entire career, and I know you guys didn't, but your dad did. Now I'm gonna tell you, a lot of the great quarterbacks say that he was the greatest quarterback ever. I mean, you could argue. I mean, to me, I think Joe Montana's the greatest quarterback I ever seen play. You know, I've seen the Bradshaws, I've seen the Staubachs, I've seen the Elways, and Elway. You can argue and say he's right there with him.
Right.
I mean, those two guys, Elway and Staubach, both of them, and Elway, I tell you, he's the greatest quarterback that ever played a game. I've heard Elway say that a lot of times.
What, himself
about Staubach?
is?
No, about Staubach.
Himself.
I mean,
I wouldn't be surprised if he said it about himself.
I wouldn't either.
Elway's kind of arrogant.
But no. I mean, you know, what defines the greatest quarterback? Super Bowls. I mean, Tom Brady.
He's got not only Super Bowls, but he's got statistics as well.
He does.
He's top 3 in almost every statistical aspect there is.
Montana.
Drew's got a lot of them, and he's got a Super Bowl, so he'll always be in conversation.
Yeah.
Would help if he had 2, but Tom also has league MVPs. He's got Super Bowl MVPs. I mean, and he's just been doing it at a high level for what now 20 years.
6 foot, 5'10".
He's 6 foot.
6 foot.
Right there. 6
he might be the greatest 6 foot quarterback that's ever played a game.
I think he's the best passer that's ever played.
He's pretty good.
He's the most accurate
He's pretty special.
passer.
I have to agree with you there. He's pretty special. Accuracy.
He is special.
You know,
the only thing that's going to hurt him, especially if he does retire after this year, will not hurt him, but it's going to be a question why more championships, but he never had a league MVP.
Yeah, I thought he should have won it that year when he had 5,000 some yards.
Well, he's had it 5,005 times.
Yeah.
He's been the he's going to be the all-time leader in yards and touchdowns. Won a Super Bowl and never got an MVP. So that tells you, and I try to tell people all the time, it's a yearly award based on a lot of opinions and different things. A lot of times it goes to the quarterback on the team with the best record,
right?
As opposed to who may have been the best player that year. So it's a weird award to kind of gauge when you look at that and say, well, Breeze didn't win an MVP. Well, okay. I mean, he's got every record in the book. Marino didn't win a championship, so you can go down that list. Eli, is he twice as good as Drew Brees for winning 2 championships?
No.
And he beat.
No, I'd take Drew Brees in a heartbeat over Eli.
Eli beat Mr. Take Roger Staubach's number, Tim, twice.
He did. Twice. I mean, you got to hand it to him. Is he Hall of Fame?
Well, obviously.
Yeah,
I say he is.
If if you make the case that Brady's the best, then Eli has to be in the Hall of Fame. I think
they make
if you're going to say, Brady's top 5, then I'll say, okay, I'll listen to an argument about Eli not being.
But
if Brady's the GOAT, and definitely the Brady.
Tell me your 5 greatest quarterbacks, Hunter. Your 5 greatest.
Well, there's our 10 right there.
There's our 10 right behind you.
Top 10. I agree with
9.
Montana.
Somebody wrote Vic on there.
I like my
9 on the left.
Montana, Brady, Unitas, Marino, Aikman. I'd say Montana 1, Brady 2. I'd say, I'm going to say John Elway. I'm going to say him 3. I'm going to say after John Elway,
he played
how come
5
he's not even the top? Elway's top. I say John Elway 3.
Those aren't in order. They're just on the list.
I'd say probably,
it's tough.
It is tough. I mean, there are a lot of great quarterbacks. I mean, you could argue, you could say Brett Favre, Aikman, somebody like that.
Patrick Mahomes.
No.
Now.
No. Montana, Brady.
He will be in conversation when he wins it next year.
I'm going to say Staubach number 4. I'm going to say Staubach 4. And my 5th quarterback, I mean, if you look back at Unitas, what he did, I know he didn't win, but one championship?
Got 1 Super Bowl.
1 Super Bowl. But I'd say Peyton 5.
Hey, Peyton's on
That'd be my top 5.
regardless.
So I go Montana, Tom Brady, John Elway, Roger Staubach 4, and then I'd say Peyton Manning 5.
Peyton Manning, first quarterback to win a Super Bowl for 2 different teams.
What do you think, Kevin?
No. Eli has beat Tom Brady more
He's
than
not
Peyton,
on there.
more than
Eli's
Peyton
not
did.
Peyton Manning.
No.
Eli beat Brady more than Peyton did. And Eli has 2 Super Bowl MVPs. Peyton only has 1.
He does. And he lost the Super Bowl.
Yeah. So, I mean, Eli's never been beaten a Super Bowl.
But Peyton doesn't have a win-loss record that's a perfect 500. He don't lose a lot.
What y'all are saying is Eli doesn't come to Peyton. What I'm saying is Peyton has to go down to Eli.
No.
Yeah, Peyton is not on. I never once thought Peyton. I never liked Peyton because he never threw a spiral, and to me, he was one of the first ones that all he was doing was going up and reading the defenses and putting the teams in the best position to win, which was great.
Well, he's a winner.
Look at
He was great and
Bradshaw.
awesome.
Look at Bradshaw. 4 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
I mean, you can say what you want to about the defense he had and about the offensive weapons he had, and Stallworth and Lynn Swan,
The defense.
and Franco Harris, and the offense, Mike Webster. Now that guy had to produce. He produced in the big games. Bradshaw did.
All right, Hunter. They got Panthers on 3 different. I mean, not Panthers. Phillip Rivers on 3 possible different teams: Bucks, Colts, or Panthers. I see all of them. If I'm him,
I want to stay
if
in
he
Florida.
wants to stay in the AFC, that's a good chance for the Colts. But he lives in Florida. Just moved back to Florida. Warm weather, great wide receivers. Bucks would be my place for him. They wouldn't even have to change a thing on offense other than putting Rivers in there instead of Jameis.
Yeah, but here's the thing: the ones I'm seeing, if they're speculating for the Bucks and Panthers, they're giving him 3-year deals. Do you think he really has 3 years left in him?
Yeah,
And basically,
Cam
what
Newton,
you saw
guys.
last
Where's
year.
Cam Newton going?
Well, that's what it's going to lead into. What they're doing is leading into that. So if the Bucks were to go to Phillip Rivers went to the Bucks, what that would send Teddy Bridgewater to the Chargers, Tyrod Taylor to LA for a 7th round pick.
From LA to
from
Baltimore.
LA to Baltimore, back to Baltimore to be the backup. Raiders trade up for Tua, Jameson 1-year deal in Chicago, and Packers Flacco for the backup. So there's that scenario. If Rivers signs with the Colts, their scenario is Indy gets Austin Hooper to help out. Vikings trade Cousins to the Chargers.
He'd have
for a 2nd round
He'd have
pick.
just as good of a roster with the Chargers than he
what,
already does
San
with
Diego's got weapons.
Minnesota.
They got
They're
some weapons.
good.
If I was quarterback from San Diego, Phillip Rivers, I would want to go to a contending team to win a championship because his years are about over with.
It's gonna be tough.
If it ain't already over.
Listen, San Diego is awful, Tim.
They really?
They don't have a single player on their team.
They got a running back, pretty decent running back.
No, there's a team in L.A. named the Chargers, but there's
Oh,
nobody in
that's
San
the one.
Diego.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, the Chargers. But anyway, the Chargers.
Why didn't San Diego get an XFL team?
That's crazy.
I don't know.
Instead of
look,
LA.
I say this: if the XFL continues
You
to
have
have great
to-
ratings,
I mean, guys,
All right.
keep up the good work.
Hey,
All right, see ya.
Thank you. If they continue to have great ratings, don't be surprised they'll have expansion teams. They'll just have so much
Shouldn't
money
they
to be
have
able
hit
to
up
do it.
Shouldn't they have hit up cities like that?
That need it.
Right.
Well, it made sense for St. Louis. They fit because
Right.
they had the Rams at one
Right.
point. They were starving for a football team.
Portland. Chargers, Phillip Rivers mutually agree with enter free agency, not return to the team. Yeah. All right. They had talked about that, so they make it official that Rivers will not be.
Breaking
returning.
news brought to you by Tim Johnson.
Yeah, I mean, there it is. But I thought they'd already announced that. I guess they.
Well,
don't,
they had
but
announced
not
that
officially.
Rivers had left the team, but I guess his contract still had to run
Right.
out or whatever, and now he officially is an unrestricted free agent. So.
Got you. So, hold on.
Good Lord bless you with the sneeze.
Oh, I've got big sneezes. I can't even
yeah,
have a microphone on in the room
No.
with that.
not at all.
I feel like I'm gonna be one of those people, especially when I'm older.
Yeah.
I'll start to get brittle. Is I'm gonna break a rib sneezing. It's gonna happen. I can feel it. I don't know how many times I've sneezed and just been like wanting to lay still for a minute. All right. This affects us, Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
Phillip Rivers to the
Yeah.
Carolina Panthers on
Don't
a
see it.
3-year deal. I do.
Well, if they
Um,
do it, it's just he'll end up being a backup for maybe those 2 extra years. Because if they're no good, they're going to draft a quarterback.
Well, right, but this is how I see he could end up in Carolina. If they're planning on drafting one with that first pick and then having Rivers play for 2 years, it's got to be a, hey, I know I'm going to play 2 years things. If Phillip Rivers wants to play 3 or 4 more years or whatever, I think the best for him is Bucks and Colts. I think Carolina's the last ditch effort.
The
type
thing,
of thing.
you want to know why? Because Carolina, they won't admit it. They're in a rebuild. They are 100% in a rebuild.
Here's what I don't get on some of these scenarios. Some of them make no sense. You and me have sat here and went over 15 to almost about 20 teams that can make a
move,
a play. Why would the Broncos trade for Cam Newton?
They really shouldn't. They have
Why
Drew
would
Lock.
they? Right.
They have Drew Lock. They have a young guy that they can keep on a rookie contract, and he can play. I mean, he might not be the greatest thing.
If Kyle Allen was as good as Drew Lock right now, would we be talking about that?
Well, and I don't know, but here's the question, too. Does John Elway really think they're still in contender mode?
Ooh, I like this. Oh, Denver, I don't know. They're
That's
kind
the thing.
of they got a good decent
good defense, but they were even talking about moving off Von Miller this year.
Tampa Bay gets Flacco to be short-term starter after they draft Justin Herbert. I
don't know, but I love Justin Herbert.
I think he might throw the deep ball with those receivers.
Really good.
Flacco, even Ryan Fitzpatrick would be decent up there.
The main difference between Joe Flacco and Justin Herbert, Flacco's a statue still, and Justin Herbert is mobile and athletic.
Okay.
The thing is they're both big.
Mm-hmm.
Justin Herbert's like 6'6". Joe Flacco's like 6'4", 6'5". They got big arms. The problem that people have with Justin Herbert is his accuracy. He can just work on his accuracy, but I've said the same thing about Josh Allen, and he made the playoffs this year. He's big, he's athletic, he's mobile, and he's got a huge arm. All it takes is a quarterback's coach to work on his accuracy, fix his mechanics a little bit. That's all it takes.
All right, 3 scenarios for Cam Newton.
Yeah.
That's what everybody's been waiting on. This is not our scenarios. Of course, this is ESPN's thoughts and ideas.
And we're just spitballing off of it.
It says if Cam Newton is traded to the Chargers for a second-round pick, that would mean the Panthers could sign Taysom Hill to a 2-year deal to go along with their new college system coaches.
Yeah.
Nick Foles to the Dolphins. Jacksonville brings in Andy Dalton. And the Patriots trade a late pick for Josh Rosen.
Ugh.
Marcus Mariota, 2-year deal with the Eagles.
Man, I've seen Josh Rosen in play for 2 of these already. Man, I'm dumped off of Josh Rosen. He can't play at the NFL.
He's going to the XFL.
I think he would do good at the XFL. That would be a name people would know. He was a first-round draft pick, just didn't pay out in the NFL. If he goes to the XFL and has a great career, great.
How about the Dolphins? Cam for Ryan Fitzpatrick trade.
That's so dumb.
As the Panthers, I'm sure they would give another draft pick as well.
Oh yeah, look at what's underneath it. Look at what's underneath it.
So that would lead Panthers flipping for a 5th-round pick. No, the Panthers turn around and trade Ryan Fitzpatrick to Philadelphia for a 5th round. That's what that one says. Yeah. Either way, Cam to the Dolphins could lead to, I don't know how Cam to the Dolphins leads to Stafford to the Raiders. Where do they come up with that?
I don't know.
Now, if Cam Newton's traded down to the Chargers, Stafford don't go to the Raiders, Hunter. But if Cam Newton's traded to the Dolphins,
he goes to the Raiders.
How does that? Oh, these are just wild speculations because we could do this with everybody. Derek Carr signs with the Chargers on a 2-year deal. He should. Whoever does this should start with what the Dolphins are going to do, and it don't even say what the Dolphins are going to do after trading that out. What dumb? Bridgewater re-signs with the Saints. Taysom Hill return to the Saints. That one made no sense. So Cam to the Dolphins, we're just going to wipe off the board because I don't know.
Here's the thing, though.
I am intrigued by this one.
Well, this one too.
John Gruden loves Cam Newton.
I'll say this about if Cam Newton goes to the Dolphins, it's a winnable division, especially if Tom Brady leaves the Patriots.
If Cam's healthy.
If Cam's healthy, it's a winnable division. We don't know what the Jets are really going to be. I know they looked better with Sam Darnold, but that organization as a whole is a mess. The Bills, who I think are really good, they constantly seem to split with teams in their division that's not named the Patriots just because it's been Tom Brady's Patriots. I think this could be winnable.
I think we're looking at Brady. The way the Chargers are setting this up, they want a star. So Brady
for their new stadium,
right? Brady, Cam,
they got to sell them PSLs.
Who else would be a good quarterback in LA besides Cam and Brady? I mean,
that's available,
right?
I think Teddy would be fine.
Would they want him to market? That's what I'm saying. That's my only thing.
Kirk?
They're looking for big
market Kirk.
So
no,
this
what
says,
they need to do if they want a guy that the people can get around just because he's like they need to trade for Gardner Minshew.
Oh God,
Minshew Mania in L.A.
How about Minshew Mania in the black hole?
I think it'd be crazy.
I'll go with you on Vegas.
I'm telling you, like, I don't see why not. If you're just trying to sell tickets, and people don't think he can't play, he had better statistics in playing fewer games than Rookie of the Year Kyler Murray.
Yeah, he did.
So he can play.
Cam to the Raiders.
That's why a lot of these, when I see them trading Jacksonville for a new quarterback, I'm like, dude, you got a guy on a rookie contract. Just play him.
Right.
And keep Nick Foles in your back pocket. So what if you got to pay him?
Well, that was the thing with Romo and Dak is that either way you're playing a starter $27 million. If they're combined $27 million, it doesn't matter who the starter is. Good.
Exactly.
All right, Raiders, Cam Newton.
Well, selling PSLs.
I think Gruden loves him, and they would sell tickets. I think if for Cam, now his best fit, I think, is Tennessee, possibly even Tampa, and possibly even Indianapolis. The Raiders, I don't think that's a bad move for either team, actually, if he's healthy.
Because
Gruden is weird in the fact when you watch all those old quarterback things, he likes all of them.
No, he likes all
so
of
I have
them.
no idea what he really does like or don't like.
And see, a lot of people say he doesn't like Derek Carr, but
if we
go back, didn't he kind of like Derek Carr coming out of college anyways? But now that he's got him, he's like, it's not for me. And here's the thing, too, as well. They got a good tight end in Wallen for Oakland, and they have an outstanding running back in Josh Jacobs. Other than that, there is no perimeter help for Cam Newton. So they're gonna, if they do make this move, they have got to address getting Cam some help, or else he's gonna be throwing to nobody.
Right. Well, this guy, if he does that, it says the Panthers with Teddy Bridgewater.
Dude, Teddy Bridgewater, I'm telling you.
Do you think he would want to sign here?
To me, because
if you're him, where would you want to be?
Indy. If I'm Teddy, I want to be somewhere where I can win, and I know they're going to commit to me. I was about to say, if I'm Teddy, I want to go home and try and win in South Florida somewhere, either Tampa or Miami, one of those two. But Miami, I think, sold on drafting a quarterback.
Him throwing to Evans is
Mike Evans, Marquise Goodwin. I mean, their tight end is good. O.J. Howard, who is out of Alabama, so they've got weapons, man. But oh my God, do you see the one that's underneath Teddy though? The Chargers land Jameis Winston on a 3-year, $99 million deal. 3 years, $99 million. You're paying him $33 million a year.
There's gonna be somebody mad that they end up having to sign Jameis because somebody's gonna get who they wanted.
Yeah,
somebody's gonna get their second pick, and then all of this is gonna.
Yeah.
I mean, Hunter, let's just go through real quick.
Standings?
Standings. Let's go over the teams. I want you to go over the teams real quick because remember, there's quarterbacks we just named that we didn't name the other day that could be making moves.
Oh, I know. And see, this is only a small amount. They didn't even do all the quarterbacks that are on the move. They only did the 3 big names in Rivers, Tom Brady, and Cam Newton.
Let's just count the teams that they mentioned. Dolphins.
Yep.
Patriots.
Obviously. They mentioned the Colts. They mentioned the Jaguars. They mentioned the Titans.
Steelers. They even mentioned Steelers signing Flacco, but I'm not going to. Let's not put that on the list for the quarterback.
They mentioned the Raiders,
Bengals, Chargers.
They've mentioned a lot of
Broncos. I'm gonna go. Okay, let's go through with what they mentioned. Okay, all right. All right, they didn't. Let's count the ones they didn't mention. Okay,
they didn't mention Buffalo.
Buffalo,
and they didn't mention the Jets. We'll just go by. We'll just go by.
They didn't mention Baltimore, or Cleveland.
Yeah, yep.
And Houston, there's 5. Kansas City, 6. Everyone else in the AFC is in play for a quarterback move.
They mentioned the Eagles for a backup, but I don't really want to count that. And they didn't mention the Cowboys. So really, they didn't mention any team in the NFC East.
We mentioned the Cowboys.
We mentioned. Do you want to count what we mentioned, or are you just going off of what they mentioned?
Well, what do you got on right now?
Right now, I'm on 6.
We're 6 in the AFC. Now let's do the
6
NFC.
in the AFC.
Who will not be making definitely 100% not making quarterback move? Giants.
Yes.
Packers.
Yes.
Falcons.
Yes.
Cardinals.
Everybody in the West.
Rams, 49ers, and Seahawks. So 7 in the NFC. So there's 13 teams that we don't think are making any type of quarterback move. That leaves still 19 teams in the NFL that could make some type of quarterback move. Could, not will. could. So that's Hunter's official number of 3 to 19.
Quote
And what's
us.
going to happen is as soon as one guy signs, and I think it's Brady's going to be the first to sign, so we know what's going to happen.
Obviously, I don't know.
Then the
man.
dominoes will fall.
Because I think Tom Brady is a key piece, obviously, because of his name and how many Super Bowls he's won and teams that are in win now mode. I think the one name that's going to be tossed around the most is Teddy Bridgewater. I think he is the X factor for a lot of these teams.
I think he could steal some money from somebody.
Oh, he'll steal a lot of money
As soon as somebody.
But to me, it's not stealing unless it's a bad team, and they're just not going to win because the team is bad. If he goes to a team that can win, that's not them stealing money from him. That's them paying what he's worth.
What I'm saying is, I guess what I meant by that is that if he's in a position, and I keep saying most of these quarterbacks don't have a good position, but I think he is in a good position to where
Teddy Bridgewater's in the same position Jimmy Garoppolo is in.
As soon as one of these other guys moves, as soon as, let's say Brady goes to the Chargers, and as soon as that happens, the Patriots have to make an immediate decision. Who does Bill Belichick want to be their quarterback?
But even then, right now, the Chargers were brought up on here talking about the possibility of Teddy going to the Chargers. If the Chargers, because they, like we just got,
they wouldn't
breaking
choose him
news.
over Brady. First move.
First, well, okay, not
That's
first.
what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. The
Not-
first move, the first domino that has to happen for anything has to be where Brady's deciding where he's going to go. Because if he moves,
okay, yeah, he's the.
then everything else is,
he
is
has to.
crazy.
Well, the first thing is he has to announce it.
Right.
And now you're talking about are teams willing to wait and miss out on the opportunity of maybe getting a Bridgewater?
Right. That's what I'm saying. As soon as Brady makes the decision, Hunter, whether he's going or leaving, let's say if he's going, right?
Well, I would like for him just to come out and say whether or not he's going to listen to his options.
I know. As soon as he decides he's going, Belichick is going to make a move.
Oh, yeah,
Very
absolutely.
next. He's not waiting.
He's not waiting. He's a
on
chess.
everyone else.
He's
What
a
I'm saying
chess
is,
master.
as soon as Brady says, and you may even get the Patriots announcement before who Brady's signing with.
Right.
So, because if Brady would say, I'm not going to come back, guys, I'm going to go sign with the Chargers, it might be 10 minutes later, you hear Patriots, Bridgewater, $35 million deal. That's where I'm going is like, that's going to go boom, boom.
Serious, man.
And then everybody else is
Teddy
going to be like, oh,
Bridgewater,
crap, what are we going to do?
Bridgewater's in the same position Garoppolo's in. He's got enough film and enough tape, and he's won that
won a lot.
even as a backup, he won more games than Garoppolo did. And look at the contract they gave Garoppolo for the 49ers.
I'm sure
So
his agent is saying that.
Yep, Teddy Bridgewater is going to get paid.
I'm pretty sure
That's
his
another.
agent-
That's another guy from Louisville that's going to have a lot of success. Him and Lamar Jackson.
I'm trying to get my shot up there.
Yeah, we gave ESPN enough time on the screen. God almighty. It's not like they already have a whole network.
Right. We want to talk about those moves. I can't wait till they start making moves and get it going.
Yeah,
And
Yeah,
we'll
it's
know
gonna be
exactly where
exciting.
everybody's going to be.
it's gonna be fun to watch
We can get back in here and predict who's going to.
because this is
Miss
what's
the
so, this
playoffs.
is what's so nice about it. We literally can talk about this every week because it's just so much suspense behind it, and especially with the NFL Combine coming up in April. To see who shines at the quarterback position, because I know we only talk about the top three: Joe Burrow, Tua, Justin, but there are other quarterbacks coming out. Jacob Eason is coming out of Washington. I'm not a big fan of this one, but Jake Fromm is coming out. I mean, he won games at Georgia. He can be to me, he's like a Kirk Cousins. He can be a game manager. So there are options. They're talking about that glove kid out of Utah State. His comp that they're comparing him to is Patrick Mahomes because his arm is so big and he's so athletic. But he played at Utah State, kind of like Patrick played at Texas Tech. Does he come into play?
You're a college football fan.
Yeah.
Explain to me why all the good quarterbacks don't come from the big schools. No, I'm going to say all of them, but there's it's almost a 50-50 chance. And I know we talk about on Saturdays Chaz and them all the time, and that's the example or reason I like to give is that if it's one coach believing in you over another one and who your coach is and who recruited you and whatnot, a lot of these times you've got kids like Joe Flacco going to Delaware, and he's 10th in all-time NFL playoff wins, and the Carson Wentz drafted first, and you talk about Utah State, and then Patrick Mahomes had a losing record at Texas Tech.
I don't know, man.
So how is the greatest, or what some people are calling maybe the greatest quarterback? He could be the greatest quarterback of all time, and Patty Mahomes going forward had a losing record at Texas Tech. So what is it about the college system that does not produce, show us, or give us the great examples of who the good quarterbacks really are.
I honestly, God can't explain it because you see them have such success on that level. Maybe it's because, they always want to talk about, well, he had just so much talent around him. Did that elevate his game? But then I have to look at them and say, well, you can't say the guys at the NFL at the next level who are the cream of the crop.
How did all
talented.
the Division I teams miss Wentz and miss Romo and miss Joe Flacco?
That's what I mean. Maybe it's just scouting. Maybe they went to schools where there wasn't a lot of hype around them in high school. They didn't go to the premier 5A high school.
See, I look at Isaiah Best over here at Shelby, and he's 6'4" and can throw the ball 60, 70 yards. And I'm like, that's prototypical size. And then when we talk about Chaz, I mean, he's 6'3", 230. Dennis sat here on Friday night near the end of the season said, Chaz isn't big enough to play quarterback in the NFL. Quarterback. I was like, he's big, and he was talking about how great Aaron Rodgers was. I said he's bigger than Aaron Rodgers, and you just got done talking about how good Aaron Rodgers is.
He's bigger than Drew Brees. He's bigger than Russell Wilson. He's bigger than Baker Mayfield.
If you walk in that quarterback room at Carolina and saw Chaz standing there, you'd be like, that's my quarterback. Like, he looks like a super, athletic. This is the man.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm just saying. It's that these quarterbacks in these college situations, some kids get an opportunity to play, some don't at different schools. It's really weird, and I like seeing the XFL type of league because of that, because you get players and you may have more, and that may be the way we transition more to a more running style play from quarterbacks in the NFL is that those guys get more opportunities away from a college coach who's making millions of dollars, who's putting his job on the line.
Yeah.
This past weekend, Daytona started this weekend, the clashes, and we want to give you the results for those. Of course, you want to call something the clash, somebody's going to wreck.
Yeah.
Bumpers to bumpers everywhere in Daytona. Coming up this weekend on KTC, we'll have the Daytona 500 as the NASCAR season gets started off. It's also NBA All-Star Weekend. We're going to talk about that in just a little bit, in the next few days as well.
Yeah.
Eric Jones won. Let's see.
Look at a Toyota at the pole.
Oh, that's the win.
Oh.
Eric Jones won a. This is one of the Jesus clash results. Sorry, Eric Jones won. Austin Dillon second. Clint Boyer third. Larson fourth. Ryan Newman fifth. 18 people look like finished on that one.
Yeah.
I'm trying to go back. A lot of wrecks in Daytona this weekend so far. Obviously, new season, and that's I saw one of the teams. They've got 3 cars on their trailer that they took down there. Like they know that
it's gonna get messy.
One of them's gonna get scraped up.
It's gonna get messy.
And Hunter. Terry likes this type of racing. He likes this restrictor cup racing.
Yeah.
Which is I'm fine with the bumping and the grinding. I just don't. I'm not so sure about the restrictor cups plates where it puts everybody in the same general vicinity of 100 yards away from each other with 40 cars. I thought I clicked on.
I don't even know what it's showing.
It's wrecked cars and angry drivers,
and there's nothing.
I don't know what I'm supposed to be.
There's nothing. Is this just pictures?
Oh, okay. I guess just pictures. I thought there was going to be quotes.
Here's my question for you.
I want to see the best quotes.
As NASCAR season's coming around, do you think Chevrolet has it figured out? Do you think they have the car situation figured out?
But Jimmy made I saw his comment. He was talking about. He said the nose is better than it was last year, but it's still not what they want. And I guess it's not lining up on the bumpers right. Is what he's talking about. Mm-hmm. Is it the Chevy nose isn't, and that's a lot. That's been a big part of I think this Jimmy getting into his retirement years here. Randy's walking in. Well, I'm gonna go make sure I click on that for him real quick. Yeah. Let me pull up this, Hunter. You can go over the Speed Week schedule again.
Yeah.
For this, what's today? Today starting Thursday is
Thursday. Gotcha. So on FS2, Thursday, February 13th, you got the first practice. 5:30, you have the final practice. 7 p.m. Eastern, Blue-Green Vacations Duel 1 at 7 p.m. NASCAR Cup Series. This is all Thursday, February 13th. 8:45, Blue-Green Vacations Duel 2. That's NASCAR Cup Series as well. Friday, February 14th, NASCAR Xfinity. First practice at 2:05. Qualifying at 3:10 for the NASCAR Gander Motorsports Truck Series. Oh, that's what my buddy drives in. So sorry. Yeah, so first practice for the Truck Series is Thursday at 4:05. Final practice is at 5:30. I was wondering when I was reading. It's so hard to see on this screen when they have small lettering. So that's the Truck Series. Xfinity Series, again, first practice is at 2:05. Truck Series qualifying is at 3:10. Final practice is at 4:30 on Friday for Xfinity. Daytona 500 third practice for the NASCAR Cup Series is at 5:05, and at 7:30 the Gander Motors. What is? I can't even remember what it says. Gander Outdoors. Anyways, the Truck Series Nextra Energy 250 running will be Friday 7:30 p.m. Saturday, February 15th, Xfinity qualifying at 11 a.m. Daytona 500 final practice will be at 12:30, and at 2:30 p.m., NASCAR Racing Experience 300 for Xfinity, and then Sunday, February 16th, 2:30 p.m., the Daytona 500 to kick off the NASCAR season.
All right, Hunter. We're going to wrap this up here today because I'm going to talk more and get more into detail on that with Zach on Wednesday. Wednesdays, cousin Zach stops in. Want to make sure there wasn't any fun tweets or news and notes that I had for today before we go anymore. We talked about Portland on Saturday, right?
Yes.
It's the goaltending and yelling at the referees about that. Anything else? Sorry, folks, watch. I know this is great radio and stuff. Mentioned Johnny Manziel on Saturday.
Yeah.
That was just fun. Said if you never picked up a ball again, it's all love. I was the most lit, most relatable college football player ever to do it. That should be our show sign, Hunter.
Yeah, we were the most. Hey, let's make T-shirts.
We were the most lit podcast,
most lit and relatable
podcast to ever do it. All right, folks. For Hunter Yancey, you got any other news or thoughts? I'll say bye to everybody.
No, man, absolutely. I get ready to see everybody Wednesday.
Wednesday, we're going to talk Steve Smith talking about Carolina Panthers quarterbacks. We're going to break down Carolina and Duke on Wednesday. With my cousin in the house, and because Hunter and I really didn't see much of the game at all where we were at, and then we're going to talk more NASCAR this weekend as well. All right, folks, for Hunter Yancey, let's see if I can hit all my buttons right. I'm Kevin Hastings, and I think it's working. Let's see. Yeah, you hear it?
Yeah.
I can't hear it. I got it on cue button. There we go. I don't know what's playing right now in the background.
It's playing the Facebook. It's playing our face. We're hearing, listening to ourselves. Let's be quiet.
For 1 second. Let's see if is the music playing?
Yeah, I hear it. I got it.
Okay. Got you. All right, folks. We're such dorks. We messed that up. We'll see you guys Wednesday on KTC Broadcasting Shock Jox Podcast.